Guys, CP the Tool Addict. Woo! Bonafide 18-volt ferocity. Oh man, this is gonna fire some people up. The CT9030, which is not relatively new. It's been out now for a while, but this is the Snap-on Hot Tools November Flyer for 2023 USA version. And we're gonna go over some new tools, 3 new tools that are released, and we're gonna go over the battery jumpstart flyer. It's gonna be a lot of information. I'm gonna kind of make this video a little bit long, so settle on in. It's gonna be a good one. Get your popcorn. Here we go. Let's kick things off here. Moving right along into the maximum power of the CT9030 alleged power. It's a shorter, stubbier impact. I believe we've already seen this on Torque Test channel. Does have a lot of good internal parts. 525 breakaway, 275 operating torque. You know, subjective to, you know, whatever. I will say this about the... I don't want to sound salty, okay? I have this constant nagging thing in the pit of my stomach about these so-called tool testing channels, and I hear a lot of people always say, well, if so-and-so does this, then that means I'll buy the tool, and I'm waiting for them to do a video, okay? Now, keep in mind, I've done a little bit of research, and how the breakaway torque has come up for on a lot of these tools is subjective, and companies do it all differently. But I will tell you this, in the real world application, they don't always fall to the same thing. Now, on a Skidmore testing device of any kind, you're always going to have a little bit of a skewed number, because of the fact is that you're starting at a lower point and it's working its way up. Whereas impacts are designed to be at a working torque normally, so when they start in a forward number, they're not really necessarily meant in a forward working torque, they work better, but in a reversing scenario where they're taking a breakaway situation off, they're meant to hit a little bit harder, and they're meant to be designed to use that a higher, what's the word I'm looking here for? Tightness. They're starting off at a higher tightness. So this doesn't always translate, in my opinion, to being something it's pretty subjective still. So I've noticed with certain tools, and I'm not going to say what they are, because there's no really good way to test them, but I've noticed with certain tools, there is a lot of difference and subjectiveness to how these tests are being performed and how they actually perform in real world, where they don't perform as notably as they're shown. Let's say the number one torque, let's say something that's ranked in number one doesn't actually perform in real world scenarios as it's displayed in that area. And I'm sure some of you, because I've heard some of you say it, I think you'd already get it too. As a longtime mechanic, I got to tell you, we get salty about this stuff. And I probably should just do an old separate video, but we get salty about this stuff because of the fact that we use these tools and we get told that they're the greatest, latest, you know, whatever, and then it becomes a letdown. And the word of mouth is what really travels, and long-term longevity use. Like I said before, if everybody wanted the most fastest, powerful thing in the world, we'd all be driving NHRA Nitro funny cars or top fuel dragsters. And then we'd be rebuilding them every day. They're not reliable. They make a lot of horsepower, but they're not reliable. So keep that in mind. Anyways, I know that probably went way too long, but let's talk about the new thing. We got a 8-inch heavy-duty wire cutter. Is this new? Yeah, it says new. Heavy-duty. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah, we got the heavy-duty wire cutter for $92. We've talked about these already in the last time. $35, $49, $33, $37 for your feeler gauge set. Personally, I like the set where you replace the longer blades. Seems to be moving right along. Let's get cracking. We should have been. A lot of you were saying that about 2 minutes ago. Let's get cracking. We have a 33-piece 3H drive general service set. I know there's going to be some pretty feisty numbers on these. Pretty nice little set, you know, to take with you. Not exactly the most practical set, I'm guessing. Where do we have a price at? Oh, they don't even want to tell you the price on it. We got a pry bar, a diagonal cutter, a flank draw, slip joint pliers, talon grip, long nose slip joints, 11-piece 3H drive, 6-point SE flank drive, semi-deep socket set, which is pretty much, that's pretty nice. And we have a metric. That's not a bad, that's pretty good. That's a pretty nice little kit, honestly. That'll get you a lot of things done with a flex head ratchet, knurled extension, 6-inch extension, and a ratchet. That's pretty. But when you buy that on dinner, featuring Pro Fi organization and blow molded case, you buy a brand new general service set, you'll score one of these things. But yet we don't get the price on that. Let's check the price. Well, I wasn't able to find that on the Snap-on site, but I was able to find that on eBay for 1,195 doll hairs. Very interesting. I don't know. It's something you guys have to leave a comment down in the comment box. It's actually pretty legit set, honestly. Just a little bit. It's a little bit lofty on the price, but hey, you get some free stuff with it, or the Fiesta kit, or the Smokin' Barbecue kit. Anyways, moving right along here. We've got some unparalleled performance. 15-piece 12-point SE flank drive, short combination wrench set for a whopping $629. 10-piece 12-point SE flank drive set for $411. And that's 4-piece 12-point SE, the big boys, for $361. Then we got 14-piece 12-point flank drive wrench set short for $487. I don't know why this is fuzzy. 10-piece 12-point combination wrench set, $460. $332 for the 5-piece 12-point metric. Interesting. Your little shorties there. Little cute fillers. All right. Multiple meters, including the right one for you. Let's talk about these meters. These things came out 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. I don't remember. I bought one. And I bought the EDM 503D, so I bought the advanced, the FK, which has your Bluetooth option, and I haven't used it as much as I'd like. And the price on the FK is $693. Now, I've said this multiple times. I don't like the wire inputs on the top of this. The Bluetooth can come in handy, so if you're trying to check, let's say you're trying to check a fuel pump back at the circuit and you need to work up at the front of the car, it's nice because you can use the Bluetooth to kind of, it's for a one-man band, okay? It's nice for a one-man band, which is pretty much how I roll. But the app was glitchy when I first got it, and it has gotten much better. The one thing that I will say is that the refresh rate on it seems a little bit laggy. The digital display is awesome and the backlit display is nice for us older fellers. You know, I'm getting up there mid-40s now, and I do notice my eyes are a little bit not as good as they used to be, and it's nice to be able to look at that display. But I will say, at the end of the day, a Fluke is a better meter, in my opinion. I still think the Fluke is top. There's certain dealerships that, well, I know GM would only accept readings for from Fluke meters for warranty claim stuff. So that was a big thing. But EDM596FK, it's not a bad unit. I just don't like how the plugins are on the top. The wire's wrapping up. It stays neat, compact. Choose through 9-volt batteries like it just has to have. In fact, I basically bought stock in 9-volt batteries ever since I've owned one of these. That's one of the other thing is. So, the Snap-on meter, what do you get for the traditional digital multimeter? $197. Not a bad unit. Parasitic draw test harness, $58. Magnetic hanger is definitely a nice thing. I added that onto mine, but I bought mine from Fluke. And you can throw the leads that you get with that meter, too, in the garbage when you get them. Buy yourself a set of Fluke leads. Do yourself a favor. But if I was going to go on the route and I'm looking to buy a meter, my honest opinion is if you're a true diagnostician and you're wanting an advanced meter, find yourself a Fluke. There's some good and some bad about it. I don't think it's as accurate I had a parasitic draw on an H2 that I was working on, as I recall, recently that I recall, and I had some inaccurate readings, and the fluke diagnosed it properly, in my opinion, whereas the Snap-on failed me. And I also blew a fuse in it, and they're not cheap neither. Twice as much. So the overall cost of the Snap-on is going to be more expensive. So that's my 2 cents worth. If you have any more comments about it, leave it down in the comment section. Moving right along, we have some screwdrivers here. Buy one, and you get 4. 4 mini Instincts. The soft Instincts. 8-piece soft grip set for $201. Then we have the long soft grips. Let's just go into my feelings about Snap-on screwdrivers. I'm not as, if you don't need to spend the money on Snap-on screwdrivers, I think you can come out with better ones. Vessel are really nice. The Top Tool ones, I've been using the Top Tool ones. Hell of a screwdriver for the money, for a third of the price, honestly. Snap-on doesn't always win in this category. The handles are pretty nice, but they're kind of my favorite screwdriver, but I'll be honest with you, they're not always my favorite screwdriver. And, you know, I mean, I only use a number 2 Phillips mostly, sometimes number 1, sometimes number 3, rarely. But for the money, for $201, I think Snap-on, I think you can definitely go with another route rather than buying Snap-on. Phillips flat tip electronic miniature set for, what's that say, $84. You know, it is what it is. All right, we have the Take Every Surface to School, to Prep School. We have the 14.4 Micro Lithium Cordless Polish Prep Tool Kit for $585. Holy mackerels. That is a pretty sweet tool, but man, I don't know. Then we have the 18-volt Monster Lithium Belt Sander for $505. We got the 8-inch geared sander, $439. The 6-inch orbital, $379. And then the old Crud Thug for $679, which is a pretty awesome tool. And there's a lot of body shop guys that love those things. Alrighty. Everyday productivity enhances. I've said this a million times. 5-pack kneeling mat. Talk to your shop owners. This is a hell of a deal. Honestly, $266 for 5-pack of these. Can't beat them. The only thing I will say about them is don't let water get underneath them or they instantly turn into a surfboard. Ask me how I know. Big fella like me is taking a fall, but $266. I mean, divide that up by 5. That's, what, less than $50 a mat. Not a bad deal. Probably not the greatest deal out there, but they warranty them, they handle them, and they're absolutely awesome. It's great to have it every stall at the shop. These things are amazing. I love them. I got 4 or 5 of them, to be honest with you, because I use them all the time. In fact, I've got one in my 66 right now. High power magnetic mat, $79.50. Snap-on thermal gloves, $17.35. Digital tire inflator, $238.50, which is basically looks like the Milton rebrand, the Snap-on's version. Tire tread depth gauge, $9.55. The 3625. Funny thing about this dial type tread depth gauge, that's a rebrand. The exact same one you can buy for $10. No joke. I should put a link for that. If I can find that tread depth gauge, dial tread depth gauge, I'll put it down in the description. Just check it out. You'll be astonished. Vacuum brake leader. Listen, everybody rebrands, okay? We're above and beyond that here on this channel, unless you're new here. So, vacuum brake leader, $137. I'm not hip on those. 20-piece multi-back brim, back probe pin kit. This is ridiculous. $44. That's made by, those are like rebranded by Tool Aid, and they're literally $15-20. I think Matco's the only one that comes close to paying that price on them, but yeah, ridiculous. Lyle, these are Lyle rebranded brake pad shoe gauge, which are nice, $39.25. Obviously, very expensive. Here is a pressure tester that I absolutely love. I have these. I almost wish I had the diesel one, but I love this 500 PSI pressure tester. I use it for oil pressure, transmission, and fuel pressure testing, and I've converted my old Mac kit. You can do it, so don't think that you have to buy all the Snap-on stuff. Be honest with you, the one thing that's funny about Snap-on kits is all their hoses are made in China. That is a fact. I was pretty disappointed when I bought this kit and the hoses were not as good as my Mac hoses, and that's a fact. And I don't know if any Snap-on dealer knows that, but I was not very happy. But I have a nice USA Mac kit, and I didn't want to trade it off because I want to keep the analog gauges for stuff that I want to use. But here's the thing about these, before I get off my soapbox about this. These gauges are super fantastic. Now, if you're a DIY guy, you don't have to listen to this because this isn't really going to pertain to you. But these gauges are absolutely amazing. How many of you guys have done fuel pressure tests on cars, drove around with the deal taped to your windshield or whatnot, or had them fall off, or, you know, they're just a hazard. Nice thing is about this, hooks up to your Bluetooth. Absolutely amazing. If you're trying to do a transmission pressure test, you can tie it up underneath the car. It does have magnets on the back. I still zip tie mine to something, and you can check the pressures while you're putting the car. One-man band show right here, and the diesel one would be really nice for checking diesel fuel pressure. I have found that I can max out that 500 psi pressure tester. The diesel ones, you know, of course, they come up very high pressure. Kind of a, you know, kind of a wish-wash, you know, because you don't want to contaminate fuel. So you technically would want to have a diesel and a gas one by all rights. But man, these kits aren't cheap. I think I paid $500 for the automotive, the EVP 700. I have a video on it. You can check it out. Look it up, search it through, and I'll show you how I converted it and everything. So that's my spiel on that. I think it's a great deal for any automotive technician that's a professional, because it's a safer tool to use. And that's the huge selling point for it right there. People can complain about the price on it. This is one of those tools that price doesn't matter to me because the safety and the absolutely time savings that it does overcome the price. Is it a little expensive? Yes, but like I said, I can make money with this because it actually saves me time. Moving right along, we have the, Cranberry, the classic Cranberry Snap-on Master Series toolboxes, all that jazz. You know, and that's the end of the flyer for that. Now we have some new tools. So they have a new air-powered belt sander, which is coming out, 90-degree angle, 18-inch belts, 270-degree flexibility, very powerful, pretty nice. I'm sure it's not going to be cheap, though, which is kind of a bummer because I do want to get one of these, and, I'd like to not pay $700. Then, of course, we have the 8-inch universal hose clamp pliers. Now, I have the older versions that were for the wire ones, and I do use them on the regular hose clamps. So, basically, they kind of upgraded those, in my opinion. I'd like to try these out to see if they're really that necessary. They do have serrations on them, so I guess it would be nice to have that for your different angles because you can do them sideways or straight on. I've seen them in action, but not really sold on buying them yet. Not something I'm going to upgrade to my arsenal. And then last but not least, of course, the stupid light. They got to have a new light every month. You know, I talk about O-lights and tell you guys about lights, but at the end of the day, I get tired. I am on light overload, but I do get excited about the O-lights now because I'm pretty into them. Every time I get an O-light, they seem to be absolutely fantastic, and I can't complain about them. They have been upholding better than any light that I've ever had up to date, and they're not really that expensive. They're not super cheap, but they fall in that middle of the road category where they fit the build. So I was going to go into the other flyer, but maybe I'll save that for another one. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you guys as always. Remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. Ring that bell. Remember, keep your hands dirty and your money clean. Thanks for watching.